Ahoy there, mateys! Welcome aboard the Riff Raff Podcast. We are the pirates of the Neurospicy Waters. Come along with us and hoist the sail. We're navigating life through story and tale. We'll help you embrace the way you're wired, sharing laughs and lessons to get you inspired. If you join us, we will help you see there are a lot of ways to sail the Neurospicy Sea.
Once we have, hopefully that we didn't start laughing this time. That's not good. We start talking about being social and everybody clams up.
Well, howdy doody, y'all.
Yeah, a lot of duty. So, hi. It's been a morning. Welcome to Across the Desk. We are the Riff Raff podcast team. And funnily enough, today's topic is you don't have to be social.
It's a choice to be social.
The choice, choice. Don't want to, don't have to.
Choice, social.
Choice.
Exactly.
Make one.
We're the choice busters. Who's afraid of a choice?
Oh, me some days, man. I gotta tell you. Absolutely me some days. I was supposed to be. So we usually do introductions. We're going to do those too. But here's an interesting lead up. Everybody on this podcast, excluding Paul has trailer hair, so Paul's not joining us today, are all neurodivergent. And we all experience social engagement, interaction, whatever it is, completely differently. Hence the whole spectrum situation. So, yeah, not spectrumy, but I am definitely on the ADHD end of the neurospicy scale. And you would think ADHD are like, yay, let's be social all the time. So, Sydney, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Sydney Elaine Butler, and I have
Good luck, everybody.
What's in that cup? What are you saying right now? So I'm Sydney Elaine Butler, and I'm neurodivergent, and I'm trying to help other people find their voice, also finding my voice, and really just trying to normalize the conversation that we all worthy of what we want in this life. And yeah, that's a bit about me.
You're not worthy. No. It's a movie.
Okay, so now you're gonna have to get the hammer out. But yeah.
It's
but
downstairs.
Are you in your hammer room? You're not in your hammer room, are you?
No, I was in my lovely outdoor space, and then there was all kinds of issues, and then I had to come inside, and now I'm having to socially regulate right now, and it's just not working. So,
Okay. All right. Well, I'll introduce myself then. Oh, okay. You got your cane. If we get out of control here. I'm Maddie Dever. I'm an autistic adult. I'm also a parent of, as of Saturday, 4 autistic young adults. My youngest turns 18 on Saturday. Yeah, she's dreading it.
Burns or turned?
She is turning on Saturday, the 30th, in case you need to know out there in the world. Yeah, she's turning 18. I'll only have adults. I'll only have adult kids, which is an experience. And I would say to describe myself and what I do is I have my tentacles everywhere when it comes to autism and research and advocacy and whatnot. Yeah.
Just doing some math. Hang on a minute.
I'm trying to figure out how old she was when we first started podcasting.
No. I'm looking at my crepey neck and my
math.
White lady skin, and I'm doing birthday math because on Wednesday I'm going to be 38 years older than your daughter.
Oh wow!
And my husband asked me the other day and went,
"You're going to be 24." Wow!
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Now I have to do the math for how long ago it was. 32 years ago, I was 24. It's been a minute. My husband asked me, we were on our walk yesterday, and he's like, so what do you want to do for your birthday? I'm like, I'm good. Good. Thanks, I'm good. He's done really well with the surprise parties and the special things and the whatever. And I'm like, yeah, this one's kind of hitting me a little bit. I'm closer to 60 than 50, and that's not as much fun. Yeah, not anyway. There's so much. It's kind of funny. We have so much social coming up in the next 24 hours and 48 and 72 and whatever. I'm not about it. I'm not about it. I'm not about it. And it's all self-induced. It's all
I think that
self-induced.
I like that you said that, Elizabeth, because it's like it's self-induced, but it's like that doesn't make it any less difficult. It doesn't make it any less like people are like, well, you did it to yourself. Or it's like you don't have to go, or you don't have to do anything. But just like I know that, but it's just like
Doesn't make it okay.
doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I realized that after April because I was at several conferences and many speaking engagements. I love speaking, so like being in front of 50, 100, 1,000 people. I love. No, but being around those people after is so utterly exhausting. It's the speaking part isn't my problem. It's the social part that weighs, and then I'm like,
Which is why
I'm recuperating for a week after, because
some people might suggest that Maddie puts gaps in between their events because some of us are aware of the cost of.
Now. I know, like my heart wants to do everything all the time, everywhere. My body is like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What's going on?
That's just my brain. Like, I was supposed to be social on Tuesday, and I just went, nah, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. I have to go in today. So for context, I'm in a tech incubator in Burlington, Ontario called Tech Place. Awesome place. They have been incredibly supportive of what we do and the programs we provide. And so not a Tech Place situation at all. I have to go tonight because we've got Job Lab and I'm going to be, talking to people and whatever. A huge part of my job as an entrepreneur, and we're all entrepreneurs. That's the other little kick in the is that we're all entrepreneurs. And Paul owns Creation Designs and focuses on e-learning development and video production and all that great stuff. They are also Neurospicy. Maddie owns now. Maddie's complicated because Maddie's got but you have Autistic Rambler.
Yes, Maddie has many websites. Maddie has one business. The business is Autistic Bridge. One of the websites, so autisticbridge.ca. Websites, maddiedever.com and autisticrambler.com, and many others. Yeah, there's neurotapestry.ca.
It starts to get confuzzling. Because Maddie's multi-talented.
It's called the Maddieverse.
Spider-Manning, in case anybody's wondering. And then more ways than one. And then Sydney owns Accessible Creates.
Yes.
Accessible Creates. Did I do it right?
Got it. You got it.
Thank you.
Got it first time.
Gold star.
Yay. Okay, that makes me very happy. And I own Spiro Canada and run we now all are in a not-for-profit called Nimble ND. So we're all required as part of our capacity to feed ourselves to be social. And for the most part, it doesn't bother me. Like Maddie, I'm extremely chatty. You put me up in front of a group, do whatever, and I'm good to go. I didn't until recently understand the hidden tax of being neurospicy and being social, because people are like, oh, you're just always on and you're and I'm like, yeah. And then I go back to my room while you all go out for a beer and I'm like, screw humanity. Like, you could all Thanos and I would be okay with that.
Yep.
Oh, some
And
days
this
I want to
this is
snap that gauntlet.
yeah. Right now you're getting a snapshot of Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done. Good one. But because I'm an ambivert, because I can be very extroverted and social and friendly, and I'll talk to anybody and whatever, which is true, and I enjoy it all, and I've met incredible people. What can happen is by the time I get home, depending on the day, this is what I'm anticipating. So today, Job Lab, we have an AGM online and whatever for the Autism Alliance of Canada. Tomorrow, I'm going to be at the Skills Ontario competition at the Enercare Center for most of the day. Saturday, I get the opportunity to go to a bridal shower, which is an English tea.
Wow, I'm already tired for you.
Right. Not done.
I know you're not.
Not done. And then Sunday, we're having folks over for dinner. And then my birthday's in there somewhere. Yeah. And, 20 years ago, I just would have been like, fuck it up. It's fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Fine. I'm like that cat with the hair. Fine. Or the ostrich, like pick an animal with whacked out hair.
Yeah.
And I
think Einstein hair. Yeah.
I like that. It's much better than the crazy cat.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
Well, we just on Nimble ND Connect, Sydney and Maddie did a great talk about building resilience. And one of those things was I was raised to push through. Like you just push through. That's what you do because it's expected and I have to be social for my business and I have friends that I love and enjoy and family that I periodically get to engage with and what have you. And you feel like your choice gets taken away. And then being social is, thrust upon you, which some days that gauntlet. You want to snap the crap out of the situation. So, Sydney,
Yes.
when do you want to snap the gauntlet?
Well, it's interesting because I feel like there's people that recharge my spoons and recharge my energy, and there's people that drain my life for, to put it simply.
Wow.
But
I like
it's it's true, and I think in the context of being an entrepreneur and having to go to networking events. Like I went to a networking event a couple of years ago to support one of my friends, and another one of my friends was going that I hadn't met in person yet, but was excited to meet them in person. And so I think finding community that I can rely on in these instances and have that relationship with, and we kind of encourage each other to go let's go talk to other people, and then we kind of do a debrief or afterwards, and that really helps. And also having strategies for after long periods of socializing of okay, what does my self-care look like to replenish my own cup after I'm socializing. And so I think with the being understanding my own self, it's who do I gravitate towards, who makes me feel better about myself, who doesn't drain me as much, who lifts me up, who makes me enjoy socializing. And I think I've learned that in the past 5 years since launching my business and being really intentional with how I'm spending my energy. Sometimes I have to go to events that I'm I don't really want to go to this. So there was an event recently, it was for International Women's Day. And again, it was an organization that I've been wanting to get more involved with or see what they're about. It's a chamber of commerce, and so I was and my friend actually that again met online was oh, I'm going to this event, and I was I'll go if we can go out to dinner after, so that way I can double up my social activities and also have
get it all over with in one day.
Just that's my favorite thing to do. Is I know it's gonna be tiring on the day, it's gonna be draining, but I like to social stack, if you would.
Oh, no, that's really good. Do you find if you have a person there that sort of you can either borrow their energy or they can become a bit of a social buffer? Like if they're more of a You are a social butterfly, I would say. Like everybody on the call is very good at being
hmm
social. But if you've got somebody, what do they call it? Wingman, wing person, some kind of wing.
Wing nuts.
I get it wrong. Um, you're not wrong. But knowing you're there with someone sort
hmm
of takes the pressure off if you just don't have the jam
Yeah, I
to
think
make new
even like
friends.
all three of us went to a conference, autism summit last month, and knowing I
Mhm.
had Elizabeth there, no, even me and Maddie would just like me and Maddie would fight each other and just be like, just to have that moment, and that and then
Yeah,
be like, okay, then go our separate ways
yeah,
again, and that was so
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So
Well, you knew
We
you
were
had
able
so
somebody
to.
for dinner.
pardon.
Sorry, Maddie. You knew you had somebody for dinner. Like you didn't have to
Yes,
go sit
yeah.
with
Yeah.
a whole group of new weirdos. Go, Maddie. Sorry.
Um, yeah, no, I think especially that week, we just being able to lock eyes and have a breathe through a moment
hmm
of absurdity. Uh, it was
hmm
it was uh, I I love it when I have my peeps around because a lot for most of us having intensive intensive uh, amount of time with people we don't know is draining, but it's less draining
hmm
when we have those outlets that
hmm
of of venting moments of like we hold in all of this newness, and when we see somebody that we know that's in the same sort of that's like us, we can just sort of vent out some of that
hmm
uh because we have that connection of familiarity.
Well, so what I was doing, folks, is I was making little cookie.
Okay, and this time
Normally,
when I talk, I tend to not look at the screen. As I getting my ideas. Although I did once look at Elizabeth as she was peeping. She does to me what I usually do to her.
back's a bitch, lady. Who's the shit disturber today? This gal. So social
Well, I
venting,
guess
but
I'm the
that's
shit.
what's that?
I guess I'm the shit.
You are the shit. But social venting, that's kind of an interesting because sometimes,
Yeah.
folks. So I am what's considered an extreme type A with an alpha female personality and low filter. I also have it's called extreme social justice. So if I see something that's not right or whatever, I have a strong reaction to it. I never understood it. This has been since I can remember being
hmm
like 6 years old and seeing somebody getting picked on or something wasn't fair in the classroom or whatever, and nobody else is doing anything, and I'm like, what the hell? What's wrong with you people?
hmm
Um, so I was in Value Village the other day, and a woman was there, and her baby screamed the entire time she was in Value Village. That wasn't the problem because I have two kids. I get it. But I could see the kid, and the kid is gnawing on their fist and screaming, and they're hungry.
hmm
And my social justice meter went off the chain because I was like, go feed your kid. Like, either come out prepared, pack it up for the day, walking around going, shh, you're okay. Like, no, that's just a no. That's a hard no. And when I'm about to be socially inappropriate, which can happen, because I said to the woman next to me when we were checking out, I was like, man, don't you wish you'd just feed that kid? And she looks at me and she says, well, my baby had colic as well. And so I'm a little more empathetic. And I'm like, I had sick kids too. That's
hmm
not that. That kid is starving. And I'm like, I hear you. So my go-to for inappropriate social venting is my friend Noreen, where I can I'm about to be bitchy. Put your bitchy pants on because I need to get it out. Um, but at the conference, it was really interesting. So for context, this conference happens once a year in Ottawa. We're very fortunate that it happens right near Parliament, so we're able to engage there. So we're talking to it's a bit of a big deal. But what's really nice is that Sydney, for an example, and I walked in together, sat together for the first little while. And then Sydney found some peeps in the place, people that they already knew, people that they wanted to connect with. And so Maddie was sitting at one table. Sydney ended up staying on the same side of the room. And then I ended up in a conversation with somebody on the other side of the room. But throughout the conference, I would either see something funny and message Maddie, or I'd look over and just check in and see that Sydney had somebody to talk to and they were okay and give them a little message.
Or me and Maddie would just like make faces at each other.
Yeah.
Oh, it's trying to be professional. Wow.
Well, you know,
Like, did you do
Nice.
that?
I mean, you're not wrong, but nice.
yeah. I mean,
I saw.
there's always a mixed.
Go ahead, sorry.
So when it comes with anything related to autism, you've got several it
It's a deep
can
thought,
be
folks. Hang on.
challenging. It can be challenging because some of what we hear can feel absurd to us because people are in talking about us mode. And when that happens,
Mhm.
those of us who are in this and are, you know, doing everything we can to bring about a world where it's with us, not for us, we feel it. And so having people to share that look of absurdity and just, you know, connect, that's like that part of that connection venting I'm talking about. It's
Mhm.
it's so helpful because if you're in a room and you're the only one experiencing this, it's a very lonely, scary, difficult,
Yeah.
challenging, all of those adjective words when you feel like you're the only one, because then you start questioning, is it just me? But when there's a few other people in the room who are experiencing the same thing and they're able to, you know, have that look across the table, it's like, it helps.
I heard something a little while ago, and it was what was it? I don't know about anybody else, but I get a little bit of road rage. Like not get out and beat somebody, but I will.
You never would have thought of, nah.
I'm just highly verbal when I'm driving, and
I've seen it
it's good.
firsthand.
Yeah, especially if somebody's driving like a turd. I'll be like, "You are a turd, and you need to go back to turd school and figure out how not to be a turd because you failed."
But it's
So
the third time I went.
and the third time you failed. So somebody said, if you're out and about and you keep running into assholes, after the third asshole, they're not the assholes. So what I mean by that is, if every person you run into during a day is a bad word, could be jerk, like whatever floats
Mhm.
your boat. At some point, now what I do is by the third time, I literally stop and have a little talk with myself and going, okay, from a social perspective, is it me? Am I overwhelmed? Am I just having a bad day? Have I had too many people? You know, like bad sleep, like whatever it is. Because by the third person of me cussing them out for whatever, it's not them, it's me. Having said that, there is construction in our area right now, and there's a lot of
How
drivers
about
that are not normally in our
let's
area.
let's rephrase it. It's not just them, right? It can
Yes.
be both. You could still be
Mhm.
facing assholes, but how you're feeling and how you're dealing with it, that's the only thing you can control.
And that's where that social choice comes in, right? Like sometimes if you're a business owner, you don't have a choice. But if you're about to walk out the door, we're going to be using some bad language here, folks. If you're about to walk out the door and you're already wearing your asshole pants, you need to go back in and change. And you need to take a moment and go, I have a choice here. If I choose to go to this event and I choose to show up with my jerk pants on, this isn't going to go well. My reserves are already going to be low. I'm not going to be as filter conscious for me as I could be. All of those things. So there's choices about being social that also come down how you show up for that. And if that day all you have in the closet are jerk pants, then that might be a time to go, you know what? This isn't a good day for me to do this. Or call a friend and vent. And sometimes that can be all it takes. Is something happened yesterday or
Yeah.
whatever. The jerk pants are on tight and you put a belt on and suspenders and you're like, I'm leaving these pants on. You need to talk to somebody, right? There needs to be some perspective gathering so that you can maybe at least take off the suspenders.
And, you know, you can call me anytime because you got a friend in me.
Oh, no.
So someone saw the new trailer. Okay.
Toy Story
For Toy Story
642.
65?
Yeah, 640. Like, I mean, I love that. That was the first movie my kids ever saw in the theater. And speaking of being social, this actually ties in. So my son is autistic, dyslexic, and ADHD. Also has hyperacuity, which means he's got like bat-like hearing when he's paying attention. Hyperacuity, ADHD, autism. I think God gave him hyperacuity to try and balance all the other modalities in his life that help him to ignore people. Hey, he's really good at it. We were in the theater. And for those, I love movies. What used to kill me was that Dolby sound swinging thing that kind of went around the room.
Okay,
Remember that
yeah, I
noise?
get that.
You know where I'm at? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
To show you that you're in Dolby surround sound.
Yes.
For my son to sit through that movie, he had to keep his hands on his ears.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
He was thrilled. Like Woody was like, I'm a Jessie the Cowgirl kind of guy. And also Bo Peep because Annie Potts voices Bo Peep, and Annie Potts was on Designing Women, which had Delta Burke and it had Julia Sugarbaker, which is like that. She's dead. That's what he had to do.
Yeah.
Hands on ears.
Yeah.
In order
Yeah.
to accommodate that particular situation.
I enjoy movies so much more now that I bring and I wear my AirPods with noise canceling. I had no idea how, like, my family hated taking me to movies, because
Talk through the whole
I would, oh God, I hate when anybody talks through the whole thing. There's very few people that I can handle doing that with, because it just drives me insane. Like I'm locked in. But I think Kat and I are the only ones that can sort of like comment a quick thing, but we're not talking about. It's just like that. She's the only person I can do that with. Maybe Madeline, but I hate when people talk. But where was I going with this now? No, so I would be so sensory hyped up. I'd be so that after the movie, I would just like I'd be a 20 on the scale of hyperness that goes from 0 to 1.
No, that's fair. Like, so Sydney, when you're going into a situation, so I know on the drive back from Ottawa, I think we were both we were coming down from 3 days. We were coming down from a lot of people and dinners and, you know, there were choices, and we're using this conference as an example because it's one of the few things socially that we've all been able to do together, right? So for context, I'm in Burlington, Ontario, Sydney's up in Brampton, and Maddie's out near Ottawa. So when we were doing Employment Works, but even then, that was a different social choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like Sydney would train, and they went through. Sydney, would you mind talking about that? Because that's a huge social, like, you didn't have a choice, but how did you manage it? Would you mind sharing a little bit of the travel situation for that? Because that's another thing people have to deal with on being social.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how to explain. It was like,
just go through the steps of what you'd have to do on a day to come
Mhm.
down to Employment Works, and that'll give the context that we need.
So I would wake up at approximately, well, first I would pack my bag the day before on the Monday. So we have Employment Works on Tuesday. I would pack my day before on the Monday. I'd also pick out my outfit, and lay that down. And sometimes I sometimes have multiple options depending on, because I know my sensory difficulties. So sometimes I would have different options depending on, like, I would try one on, like, no, that's not how I thought it was going to feel today. And I share that because it's all part of it. And then I would have to wake up at between 4:30 and 5 a.m. on Tuesdays, get the first bus, then walk to the first bus, which is like a 15-minute walk. And the first bus would come approximately at like 5:50 in the morning, and then get the first train at it was like 6:14 in the morning, and then get another train at like 7:15 in the morning, and then Elizabeth would pick me up at the last train station before going, and then driving to where we were doing Employment Works, a tech place, at like 8:10 in the morning.
And then for context, folks, we would then spend half an hour to 40 minutes getting the room set up, greeting the folks coming in for Employment Works. If Maddie was coming in, then we would actually need to, and this isn't a flag, this is just a reality. Maddie's in a motorized wheelchair, so we would have to rearrange part of the room to make sure that they were in a spot that made sense.
That was
right?
accessible to them.
Yeah.
Accessible to them and handled some sensory, right? Because they needed to be able to go if they were, sometimes we had either drilling on the floor above because the whole building was constantly in and out of construction, or that day because it was a full wall of windows, tons of light coming in. So we had to measure the overhead lights because sometimes it would get too gray, which I know sounds odd, but it's another sensory issue around being social. Is now we're navigating outside sounds. We were navigating the fan if it was noisy that day. We were navigating lighting because our participants, if the lighting was too low, understandably would be like, it's nappy, go sleepy, bye-bye time. Because a lot would come in with like a headphone stripe in their hair because you knew they had been up until 1 o'clock in the morning doing whatever. So it was and then Maddie's also got sensitivities around scent. So we had to make sure that in the room, we weren't using certain markers like whiteboard markers. No, Sharpie's okay. And then whiteboard crayons. And this is not a picking thing, but all of that impacts how Maddie would then teach or show up or how social they could be after.
Yeah.
And then Sydney's walking to the bus stop, and sometimes, Franny needed to come out to play. So if there was the added layer of Franny is Sydney's support team.
I have Franny, fancy Franny today. This is Phoenix. And then I have Franny, that's my portable king.
So I knew
that. I really like that.
It was beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So I would watch Sydney coming out of the train, and if Franny was out to play, seriously, I paid attention every time. I would know.
Yeah.
Okay, like we need to, we're going to check in and.
Yeah, Maddie needs to keep the pound content down really low.
Or like sometimes with Franny too, like sometimes it would be like Franny would be out to play for the travel component of getting to Employment Works, because that accessibility needed to be higher for me. But then actually, once there, I could sometimes put Franny away, or I would need Franny later in the day. There'd be different degrees of how I would use Franny in the day.
Yeah.
How would you say, and Sydney, how would you say the intersectionalities of managing neurodivergence and a physical challenge could impact your social choices or how you show up in this space?
I think, well, I'm going to go back to quickly the summit and the conference we were all at, and how you said we were exhausted coming home. There were even like, I brought Franny with me on to the summit, but I actually didn't use Franny the whole time I was there. And I think when we finally got back in the car going back home, all my pain like seeped in. They were just like, because I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
like you said, like we were the high of the conferences, so the socialization, just being in the moment, it was, and
Endorphins.
after all these different things, and so when now being back in the car and that like it felt like a safe space to be, and then my body was like, and we're done, and then we had to go through a lot of shit to get home.
Oh,
um,
that was
it
so
was
not
kind of
fun.
bananas. Like there was fog, and it was like I was literally even having brain fog. Going through the fog. And
We had to phone a friend to try and get home because
mhm,
the GPS wasn't working. So coming off of, so why we're sharing this part is because coming off of a 3-day conference where we all had to be social, and I think we were all mindful and would take time during the day
mhm,
to either just get up and walk out.
mhm,
And I don't mean walk out of the whole conference, but we would go find a quiet space
yeah,
to just kind of,
Yeah.
there were some intense conversations going on, but there was a
mhm,
lot of great friends that we get to
mhm,
see once or twice a year. And then in the evening, well, you had no choice if you wanted to eat. You had to go somewhere. Um, so then there's the getting home part. And I think this is something that we're all becoming more and more aware of is what we schedule in the time after being
mhm,
social, right? Whether if it's a 3-day conference, I don't plan anything for 2 days after, right? Like I was a Girl
yeah,
Guide leader for a number of years. I would take 36 girls camping plus 5 adults plus all the equipment plus all the food, plus all the whatever, managing the camp the entire weekend because I was contact guider, and do all of that. And I would literally back my van into the driveway, and my husband would have a cup of tea waiting for me, and everybody just left me alone for a good day.
Maddie has to
Like,
leave in a minute.
yes. Do you
Yes,
wanna
I
do you
do.
wanna do you wanna add some wise words, Maddie, about how you manage your social butterflyness?
Yeah, um I'll give you one example. So I I like to be involved in a lot of things because I feel that, you know, the experience I have in one thing can be relevant and helpful to something else adjacent, but I can't do everything. And my daughter this weekend was telling me about one organization that she's now getting part of, and they're going to be doing a rally at Queens Park. And I said, yeah, I'm aware. I'm a member of this, but I don't have any spoons to do and to be part of another thing. And so that she has spoons. I had to introduce her to
Ew.
the spoon theory. And it's like I there are a lot of great things out there, and there's times for me to be involved in some of them, but I need to balance what I do, and it means also balancing the activities. So when I do a conference week, I try to not have going out of town the next week. Last year, from September until December, I was out every at least once every week someplace, and it took me it took me a while to sort of recoup from that. I realized that's a lot. Um, but
Mhm,
yeah, I can't always do that, but I try to consciously leave a slower week after I'm gonna be gone for gone for a day. I'm fine. I just need a day to rest. But if I'm gone for 2 or 3 days, that takes a lot out of me because physically traveling, it just I'm in a chair, but I'm moving. Like I'm not like right now in my office. I'm in a reclined chair. I can go lie down in my bed for
mhm.
an hour. I can manage my time, but when I'm out and about, I can't do that, and it's so physically it takes a toll on me. And I've just had to learn, So there's the social part of it and the physical part of it, and the two together. Sometimes my brain's just a daze for a few days. So I'm learning continually to listen to my body to tell me how much I can take and whatnot. And so I make sure to only do, like, if I'm going to be speaking at something, I make sure to only do something speaking that night in a whole other different social context because that's safe. That's good. Not. And on that note,
Right.
I'll fade away like Homer into the bush. Bye,
Oh, I
folks.
actually know that visual.
Bye, Maddie.
Bye, Maddie.
Well, there's at least one geek
No,
thing
I
that we
got some
can
nerd.
share.
I got some nerd points.
Yoo-hoo! Bye-bye.
Yahoo! See you soon. So, Sydney, what are some of the, I guess, the tools or um, tools is the only word that I can come up with right now, but what are some of the things you use when you've got to choose to be social and, maybe you're wearing your jerk pants that day. Maybe you're just
Mm-hmm.
like you've had to do back to backs. So what are some of the things that you choose to do to help you with that?
I think I've gone about like carving out that time. Like, for example, if I'm out and about to the next day, I'll maybe start a bit later if I possibly can. Or so when I get home, my dog is a huge and like one time I was speaking at a conference actually in my hometown, and they're like, "Oh, you can speak and leave, right?" And I was like, "I appreciate that, but like I want to stay for the net." And like, you can stay for the networking, or you can, because I give them the parameters, and so like you can stay if you would like to, or you can go right after you speak. And I always appreciate that choice, but it always feels like if I'm again that social stacking. That's like if I'm here, I'm here. Like if I'm and
Yeah.
gonna make the most of being there, and so I was fine. Like Maddie was saying, like it's like not speaking isn't the issue. Like speaking, so I spoke. I did my thing in the morning, and then the afternoon I was then watching panelists and panel discussions and other people speaking. And when I was speaking, like I kind of noticed the sensory of the light situation. I was like, okay, but now not speaking, it was like more like it was
Yeah. There's
impacting
nothing
me.
to distract you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to distract me. So I was just like, so I put on my sunglasses. Um, and one of the event organizers just like, because they're like, they could see I was in distress. They could see it was impacting me. And they're like, you can step out if you want to. I was like, I don't want to miss anything. So I was just put on my sunglasses. So instead, she actually put sunglasses on in solidarity with me. And put her
Aw.
sunglasses on. And then other people were asking what's the sunglasses. And then it became a whole thing. Everyone put their sunglasses on to join me. And then, so that helped. And I was like, no one else, I didn't expect anyone else to do it. It was like, I just know what I have to do for me, or sometimes I bring my sensory glasses now. Now I have sensory glasses. And when I came home, my mom's trying to talk to me. I'm like, and my dog just looked at me and she ran upstairs.
Well,
And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go check on Oreo. So I go upstairs to my room, and Oreo's already on my bed, and she's just like wagging her tail to come. And then, so she usually likes the pressure from me, or like but
yeah.
I have a spot on my neck that, especially when I'm overwhelmed, or like when I'm socially depleted and had a lot of sensory overwhelm, the glasses did help, but it's still gonna be sensory overwhelm. It's not gonna just magically go away. And so there's a spot on my neck that my dog puts her head right there, and she knows, and then she just knows that calms me down, that regulates me, and
I wonder if she responds to your heartbeat coming down.
I think she does, because we've done this quite a few times now, and it's become a thing since and it's always so interesting to me though, like, because only when like in those moments when I really need that, and if you can tell I'm like my sensory input, like I'm a sensory overload, she knows to go in my neck, and like, and it's just a thing. So I think that's a huge thing. I think I also can take the day off the next day if possible. I journal about my sensory experience, or my experience in that situation. Be like, what went well for me in that situation, what did I not like, is there anything that I could do differently next time, or and I think just gathering all this data about myself and how I interacted with that event, that also really helps me to know how to proceed for next time.
I think that's, so I've been taking notes as three of us were talking, and one of the things I just wrote down is advocating for your social management. And
Mhm.
here's one of the things, folks, that I don't know, might not be PC to say. You can't rely on an organization or an event space or whatever to make the situation sensory friendly for you.
No.
Should they make effort? Yeah, right. Because everybody benefits from a quiet room. Everybody benefits from, there was one of the things. Oh, this happened. And we've talked about it before, but the Autism Alliance of Canada no longer claps at events
Mhm.
because of the sensory impact of that. Not only for folks who might be physically unable to clap. Maddie
Mhm.
cannot
Mhm.
clap their hands hard. But you need to come prepared. And some of the things that Sydney has mentioned is journaling. Bring your journal with you and get all of that social venting out if there's nobody to talk to. Get it
Mhm.
out some way. One of the few ways that AI could be non-harmful would be to put it all out in there and then see what it makes of it. I've done that before. If I've been in a social situation that something hasn't gone right or whatever, and I recognize that AI should never replace a human being, it should never replace
Mhm.
therapy. But in those moments where there's nothing there, I have opened up Gemini and said, okay, here's the context of the event. Here's the context of how I felt during the event. What could I have done differently to reduce the impact? Or how could I
Mhm.
have handled it better or whatever? I'm not blaming myself. Sydney's just mentioned a fantastic method of self-awareness, which I think is what is required to make good social choices. If you don't know what bothers you, if you don't know what you need in a space, if you don't know what you can control, that's not on anybody else but you. Ooh, I'm
Hey, this is Elizabeth Blue from Spiro Canada, one of your pirates on the Riff Raff podcast team. My fellow pirates include Maddie Dever from Autistic Bridge, Sydney Elaine Butler from Accessible Creates, and Paul Coleman from Creation Designs, who is our very own Arctic LARPing Santa. Thank you for joining us on the Neurospicy Seas, and we wish fair winds to you all.